If you haven't had the chance to watch the 2021 release of the sci-fi action film Infinite, we've got you covered. Let's dive into it. The film starts with narration from one of the characters, Nora, who speaks of several people who are born with all the memories from their previous lives called the Infinities. These people, the Infinites, are split into two groups, namely the believers, who took it upon themselves to oversee this gift and use it for their good, mankind, as well as to provide a better future for us all. On the other hand, there are the Nihilists, who have grown tired of the endless cycle of death and rebirth and plan to break free from the cycle by ending the world once and for all. Along with their plans to destroy all living things, the Nihilists have developed technology that has the power to end all things, which they call the Egg. And from here began the chase of the centuries, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Cut to a few scenes later, we're now witnessing a car chase in Mexico dated 1965. Treadway, a believer, is the one behind the wheel being chased by the cops as well as the Nihilists. He managed to get a hold of the Nihilist weapon, to which he's now ardently pursued. While driving, Treadway is also seen cauterizing a knife wound in his abdomen while also addressing his fellow believers, Abel and Nora, on what to do if he doesn't make it. Look inside is what he kept telling them as he continued to try and lose the people tailing him. During the final moments of the chase, Treadway is led to an unfinished bridge where he makes the daredevil move of driving his car while using his powers that enabled him to latch on a nearby crane as he jumped for his escape. Below him, Abel and Nora were nearing his location when a sudden truck crashed onto them, flipping their vehicle upside down and had them trapped inside. A man, presumed to be Bathurst, the leader of the Nihilist, appears from the side and shoots from a specialized gun called the Dethroner, killing the two of them in a deadly explosion as Treadway helplessly watches from above. Fast forward to the present day, Treadway is now reborn as Evan McCauley. We see Evan taking a pill while preparing to leave his apartment to attend a job interview in a certain fancy restaurant. Everything seems to be going well with the interview until the manager brings up that he did a background check on Evan. Like all his previous workplaces, Evan encountered problems due to his mental illnesses. It's been revealed that he's a schizophrenic and getting into previous brawls with several customers. Because of this, he didn't get the job, which in turn had brooding over how to make ends meet. Cut to the next scene, we see Evan forging a katana on his own, where he narrates how there are certain things in life we just know how to do even if he hasn't tried it yet, and how he sees visions of people and places which he thought were hallucinations. Upon completion of the sword, Evan went to a drug dealer named Johnny who requested the sword in exchange for his medication. Ronnie wanted to test the sword by cutting up his girlfriend's arm until Evan stepped in to save her. A fight ensued and ended up with Evan running away with the sword and his pills. As he climbed a fence to get to the other side, a vision of him falling into a snowy cliff while holding on to a woman suddenly came into full view. In the vision, Evan slid to his death on a cliff, while in the real world he fell on top of a car, just in time for the police to come and haul him into the station as he started losing consciousness. As the police took him into custody, they also confiscated the katana he built and logged it into their system. In the next scene, we see a man named Brian Porter alerted with the police's new data entered into the system. Brian then calls another person to inform this new information where a voice of a woman is heard. The woman, Nora Brightman, answered that she'll check it out, and the next we see is Evan coming into his senses. As he slowly comes to, an officer led a man towards Evan's room where the same man stared intently at Evan. We then learn that this man is Bathurst, the leader of the Nihilist. Immediately, Bathurst recognized him as Treadway, yet Evan continued to be confused. Bathurst then lays out in front of him an array of weapons that belonged to Treadway in all of his previous lives, forcing him to remember the past by threatening to shoot him every time he fails to answer. The last weapon Evan touched is a slingshot which he remembered from a tribal period, and with Bathurst realizing some of his memories have returned, forces him to reveal the location of the egg. Just then, an unknown car crashes into the room and a woman comes out who starts shooting Bathurst. She frees Evan and takes him away, where the chase ensues. The woman introduces herself as Nora and now tells Evan to get inside a car. All the while, Bathurst also enters his vehicle where a chase ensues. The two manage to escape, and along the way, Nora interviews Evan to see if he has no recollection of what happened in the past. Evan only answered in a confused and frustrated manner how all his life he's got unexplained visions that doctors couldn't diagnose properly. They end up in a hangar with Nora urging him to board a plane to find answers to his questions. After several hesitations, Evan finally agrees and boards the plane to go to the Believers Hub. While Nora narrates the story between the Nihilists and the Believers, she also explains explains the egg, as well as Bathurst's specialized weapons, which could turn those he shoots in a form of a digital file, trapped and unable to reincarnate to the next life. Meanwhile, Bathurst regroups with his crew and instructs them to find the Infinite's hub based in New York so they could pinpoint Evan and Nora's location. They end up finding Brian Porter, Toby Jones, who refused to give up the rest of the Infinite's location, which led to him being shot by the dethroner. As the two land in the Infinite's hub, Evan is introduced to several Infinites, namely Garrick, Liz Carr, Kovic, Johannes Hucker Johannesson, and Trace, Kai Alexander. Garrick explains to Evan through one of the pieces of equipment that via holographic experience of what would happen when Bathurst gets a hold of the egg, which entails the destruction of all things. The Infinites also kept Treadway's previous body in their hub in the hopes that they could access his memories. In the meantime, Evan agrees to undergo training as well as other procedures to help induce the restoration of his memories. Evan tries his best to regain his memory, but because of the car accident he experienced when he was young, as well as the steel plate in his brain and the electroshock, his memories are blocked, which leaves them no other choice but to seek help from the artisan, Jason Mantzoukas. So Nora, Evan, Trace, and Kovic make their way to the artisan, where it's later revealed that his method of inducing memories is akin to drowning, hoping that the near-death experience will do the trick. As he holds his breath, flashes of his memories from the past came flooding, but it also resulted in Evan drowning for real. As Nora got him out of the capsule, they managed to revive him, and Evan finally acknowledges that he's Treadway, and it soon reveals that the egg is located in Treadway's previous body, which finally explains why he started carving look inside his body when he was a teenager. Unknown to them, Bathurst has been spying on what's taking place, so upon knowing the egg's whereabouts, he instructed his men to raid the Infinite's headquarters and attack Evan's company. Trace got killed in the shootout, while Kovic decided to stay and buy some time, which also led to his death. Evan got shot in the abdomen and was taken care of by the artisan, which left Nora to pursue Bathurst in his estate. With the egg finally reclaimed by Bathurst through Treadway's cadaver, he had shipped in a plane, but the artisan and Evan managed to make it to the last minute as it departed. Nora's hurt by a lodged piece of metal on her abdomen, is on her way to destroy Bathurst's files. She's stopped by Shin, where the two fight to the death. In the end, Nora manages to stab Shin, but in her weakened state, she has trouble walking, to which the artisan comes and helps her. Evan manages to get on the plane by unlocking his powers of manipulation and proceeds to get inside of the plane while also destroying one of the engines in the process. As he was about to stab the egg, Bathurst shot him in the head, but to the latter's surprise, he survived because of this steel plate in his head. They fight it out, and as the egg falls off the plane, the two also jump, with Evan clamoring to disarm and destroy it. Bathurst right after him. In midair, Bathurst is shot with his dethroner, finally ending his cycle of rebirth as Evan manages to destroy the egg and fall to his death, which starts the cycle once again. On the other hand, the artisan finishes lodging bombs to the estate and gives the detonator to a struggling Nora. Refusing to leave with the artisan, Nora stays behind and pushes the detonator that destroyed all their brothers and sisters from being imprisoned in digital chips. In their next life, Abel and Nora manage to find each other again at the beginning, while we see a young man from Indonesia taking part in a sword fighting tournament while the artisan watches from a distance. After the fight, artisan approaches them and gives his card to the young man's father, telling him to call him as soon as he starts asking about his past. His father argues, telling him he's just a child. The artisan proceeds to give the katana to the kid. Just as they were asking about the sword, the artisan tells them that it belongs to his son. As if to prove a point, the artisan throws an apple, which the young Treadway slices neatly in half, asking why it took so long to find him. To this, the artisan only chuckles and tells them that we'll see him soon, which signals the end of the movie. That's all for today. What did you think of the movie? Thanks for watching.